Howdy, friends. It is day 6 of my YouTube, the 365-day challenge that I placed on myself. Welcome back again. And today I want to talk about being triggered. I'm sure you guys have been triggered. There's triggers all around us. And, well, I've been studying attachment styles. And if you are interested at all and maybe watching some videos on attachment styles, you just look it up. There's so many. One specific one came from a book that I looked up by Thais. I forget her last name. I think it starts with a G. And she has a lot of good videos out there on attachment styles. So at first, when I started thinking about why I constantly get triggered about things, and basically a lot of insecurities, and I have some comparison stuff, and there's a lot of fear of being rejected is tied around this. So I was like, oh, it must be an anxious attachment style. And so I looked it up, and it wasn't. It was actually fearful avoidant, according to this one woman's book that I read, Thais. She has the 4 attachment styles are dismissive. I think it's dismissive avoidant, fearful avoidant, anxious attachment, or I don't know. I think it's something like that. I'm just now starting to learn it. And then secure attachment. And I actually took her quiz and I scored secure attachment, which is a good thing because I've had so many years to dig into my brain and analyze, and I've taken some coaching on it and all of that. And I've had some therapy early on in my life. I did therapy, but later on in my life, I've done coaching, very like a group coaching kind of thing, not like a one-on-one coaching, which I have my husband for that. He's actually a one-on-one coach, and he helps me a lot with this. And I always say, oh gosh, thank you, honey, for sticking by me and understanding me and my crazies. I realize that I'm a fearful avoidant, and I definitely lately, since hitting menopause, well, I'm saying it's been lately, but I'll probably just say that right now that it's probably always been this way. And I've just been really good at covering it up. And what has helped a lot has been my faith in Jesus. I walk by the Spirit. I am very spiritual, and everything that I do, usually I will pass it through the lens of spirituality. And recently it's been more psychological and just looking at different attachment styles and personality types and all of that. And today was a big trigger day for me, a big one. So being triggered for me feels like I've been punched in the gut. It feels like my throat starts closing up, my heart stops beating, and that sounds very anxiety, right? Anxious. And a lot of times it's the feeling of running away. And I just want to get out of here. I do not want to be even here. And I think back about my childhood days that I definitely had a lot of issues trying my little self trying to manage what I was living in, right? I had a dysfunctional family. In that realm, I had come to a new country from Chile to the United States in the middle of white America, Iowa at the time in the 70s. Darker skin, I'm Hispanic. A lot of bullying that I had to go through. I couldn't speak the language. I had to learn English. My mom definitely was like, you need to not speak Spanish. You need to only speak English in the home so you can learn it, because this wear sunscreen. You don't want to get too dark, and I name it. It's on. And then also my body size and stuff, which I've always been on the chubbier side. And there's just a lot of triggers. So a lot of my coping, a lot of the things that I had to go through when I was younger was comparison. I had to compare myself to other kids, little kids around me, even my own sister, of what was accepted and what was rejected. And I always felt that like I was rejected at all times. I was rejected in school. I felt like I was rejected in my own family. I felt like I was later on growing up, I started trying to get a boyfriend. Felt like I wasn't accepted by most boys. I was rejected by boys unless I became sexual. And that I know is another type of trigger. And so all of these triggers, the trigger about my body image, the trigger about my relationships, and then the trigger even in general relationships, and that's even with my friends and my loved ones, right? Triggers would be like if one of my friends is deciding to hang out with another friend more, immediately I'm wrong with me. What did I do wrong? Must be this, or this. And I've been watching and I've been catching some of my thoughts have been like, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not skinny enough. I talk too much. I too much. It's always a too much. And my reaction is, I just need to run away. I need to get away. I need to flee, right? Because it's like what I understand with the fearful avoidance, it's fight, flight, freeze, fawn. I think that's what it is. And I feel like I'm always in that cycle of, right, wanting to please. And if they don't like me, then I'm rejected. And then I got to run and I got to get away and I don't need you. And so you reject me, I'm going to reject you. Listen, my husband, we've been together 32 years, married 30, and it's been a cycle of that. And that's why I always say to him, I'm like, thank you, honey, that you've stuck with all this time. Because he's been a God sent, a gift to my wounds, and to help me heal and to love me and accept me unconditionally. He's literally like a gift to me, and I always tell him that. And then there's that feeling that I like, if I ever feel something with him, which by the way, fearful avoidance also are really good at picking up. I'm sweating right now because I'm sitting outside and menopause and all of that. Anyway, fearful avoidants are good at picking up signs like body language, things they might say and not say. And I had a little bit of a moment yesterday with my husband because he wasn't totally clear on something we were talking about, a business trip he was going to take. And I was like, you said this and this. And he's like, no, I didn't. And I said, yes, you did. And I was like super mad at him. He's like, whoa, what's going on here? And I'm like, you said, and I was like, it was totally inappropriate of me to just blow up like that. And of course, a lot of times lately, I've been saying I am very hormonal because of menopause and all of that. So, of course, I don't want to use that as an excuse, but at least I can say, if I'm looking at myself, I'm saying, okay, hormones. I need some time alone. I need some to escape. I realize I need to, and then I apologize if I've stepped on toes and all of that. And the people that are secure in themselves will be very forgiving. And most of the time I am. And that's the other thing. I realize I am very forgiving. And I just want, a lot of times I want that back. You know, like I will understand you 100%. I will see through your past your flaws if you're real and true and authentic. Because if you come in here being all fake and being expecting that you expect me to do the cartwheels and the flips, and that's how I feel in my relationships. And I personally, yes, if I cannot have a friend who is like, they can't do any wrong. I'm sorry. I just have a hard time with people that are not humble. And I guess that's why for me, the most important thing is anything is just to be simple, authentic, telling the truth at all times. And because I'm all about that. So, with these triggers, though, I've realized it has helped me, the attachment style, and understanding also my personality, and also my love language, which my love language is, what is that, time, personal time, or I forget the five love languages, but I know it's like one on one time, like that. Um, Quality time, that's it. And I don't need gifts. I don't need acts of service, which actually I'm like, I'd rather you not do anything for me, even though I do enjoy it, but it just makes me feel a little weird. Um, I love quality time. And if you agree to say, yes, let's hang out, I just love that. Um, the triggers, though, are and can happen in anything. It can happen in all of our relationships. And when we're walking down the street, it can be triggered, and at work. However, it's easy to understand and manage when you realize that it's not you, not crazy, you're not delusional, you're not weird. That, you know what? Well, the truth is, I think we're all weird and we all are having a little case of delusion. But when we think about our attachment style and all of these things I just said, it helps to navigate our thoughts and why we're being triggered and why we feel this anxiety about whatever triggered us, right? It could be somebody, again, I'm just going to use it and then I'm going to wrap this video up. But again, it could be someone in the room comes in and they don't acknowledge you and they think nothing. They just don't, they say hello, but they don't want to talk to you. They want to talk to somebody else. I've been like that. I've been very triggered in that. And immediately my thoughts go, what did I do? I'm so ugly. Okay. It's like, oh my gosh, even my grandkids sometimes they can trigger me. So they're have little tiny kids, right? Can trigger me. And the trigger is that they're not coming to me. They're not running to me and loving me and giving me a kiss. And I'm like, what did I do wrong? What happened? Why are you liking me today? When we think about it, it's our subconscious attachment style coming in. And that is the beauty of, well, I don't want to say the beauty of the subconscious, but it's like interesting to me how our first 7 years of our life, basically, right? We've heard this, that forms our entire life. And it's always a constant of like on what made me think this way, what made me feel this way. And also for me, by the Holy Spirit, always by the Holy Spirit in prayer, it soothes me, covers me, makes me feel good, and I can move on into the next thing. And also talking it through. Hello, okay? Find someone that you can talk to. Watch a video that you might want to somebody speak about it. And then you feel like, whoa, okay, I'm not alone in this. And that to me always makes me feel better. All right, so that's it for today. I will cut it right here and we will talk again tomorrow. Take care.